What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got some more NBA news to, of course, be talking about with you guys. For those of you who haven't heard about this already, it is currently being reported that the New York Knicks have officially signed Luka Samanic to a two-way deal, and this is all being reported by Shams. I actually love this signing by the New York Knicks. I think it's really, really good. If I was you New York Knicks fans, I'd actually be getting pretty excited for this, as I actually think Luka Samanic could actually be a right player in the NBA. Now, the thing is with Luka Samanic, it's really weird that the Spurs, got rid of him so fast, because in the 2019 draft, they took him with the 19th overall pick, gave him, a year to develop again overseas, and then, I believe brought him in for 2 years, and yeah, they never really gave him much of a chance in the NBA, which was kind of weird. Look, his three-point percentage in his second season was pretty bad. I mean, it was only 28%, but if you look at the season before, it was about 38% in his 3 games that he did play. I think Luka Samanic is one of those guys that just, was a god on 2K. If any of you guys remember in, NBA 2K19, this guy was a god, because he kind of, some overseas players, when they kind of come in, they get a year to develop, and they kind of develop how they would, in the G League. Back in the day when the G League and 2K would be, overpowered, and players would go up 4 overalls. Samanic would kind of develop overseas, and then go up, 8 overalls, and become an 81 overall in only, his second season. Even though he was, a pick 19, kind of guy. So, hey, if 2K is an indication, if you want to believe 2K, this guy's going to be a star. But if not, if you're just an NBA fan, then hey, maybe let's not look at 2K for, to kind of tell us if this guy's going to be any good. What we can look at right now is he is kind of a stretch forward that I don't really think can play anywhere else. I think that's his issue. He's not good enough to guard the center position. He's just not a good enough defender. Well, he's just not a versatile enough dude, offensively and defensively, to guard and play the small forward position. So he kind of, 211 centimeters, 6'11", just kind of runs that, power forward kind of position where he just shoots threes, kind of here and then. That's kind of his role on the team. But what I really like about this dude is we know he can be a really, really good three-point shooter and can be a really nice catch and shoot dude. I think that's just really, really evident, to kind of see, if they can bring this guy in, and hey, maybe Obi Toppin gets injured one game, maybe Randall gets injured, right? Randall gets injured, Toppin has to start now, you need a dude to come off the bench and give you 15 minutes per game quickly. Well, there you go. You've got a two-way dude, who's on a two-way contract rather, who can come in, maybe splash 35 to 40% from 3, be a nice, catch and shoot type dude. And then, of course, that's really the big thing that I think he'll supply on the team, which will be, really, really good to kind of see, go forward. It is really, really interesting to, kind of see, though, how it will all go. Will he get many minutes on the New York Knicks? Will he not? I think that's kind of going to be looked at to play out. He will spend time with the Westchester Knicks, is that what it's called? I don't know. I feel like I just butchered their G League name, but I don't even remember what the, kind of area is called. But hey, they've got a similar name, in terms of the Knicks, but I think it's just Westchester or something. I don't even know. Hey, you New York fans are probably screaming at your TV or your screen right now, but you know what I mean. He'll probably play there, and if they have an injury or something like that, then he will, I guess get called up, and that will be kind of that. I think, considering, I feel like a lot of teams should have kind of gone out and got him, really. It's actually Westchester, by the way. But again, a lot of teams should have gone out and got him. I feel like there's a lot of potential here for a player. He kind of reminds me of, Dame Wade, who kind of plays on the Cavaliers right now. Except it's the taller version that can't guard the 3. Dame Wade's a dude right now that kind of gets overlooked for his name because he's such it's so similar to Dwayne Wade. But Dame Wade's actually been a shining light for the Cavaliers, actually kind of been a power forward that can space out the floor for them. He's kind of like that, where Dame Wade, the only thing that he does is kind of space out the floor, but he can drive in occasionally. It just kind of looks awkward because he's not the most versatile or, you know, nifty kind of guy, and that's what kind of Luka Samanic is. If you watch his highlights, he kind of is just like that. You know, Obi Toppin, he's a much more athletic type dude, but you look at Obi Toppin kind of running, and it's just a little bit awkward as well. Seems like Knicks have a pretty interesting, you know, kind of landscape when they look at players that are just awkward when doing these things. But hey, I think Samanic is a lot more awkward than what, you know, kind of Obi Toppin is, especially considering Obi Toppin's such an athletic dude, and I believe Samanic is not really that athletic from what I've seen and what I've heard. I'm pretty sure he's just kind of one of those dudes that spaces out the floor. But considering the New York Knicks, they went out in this free agency, and their big goal was to bring in a lot of floor spaces and do this and that. They really did that. You know, they lost Reggie Bullock, which, hey, that's okay. They upgraded, they brought in Evan Fournier, who's not as good as the defender, but now you kind of let RJ Barrett play that small forward position permanently, while you look at, he was kind of swapping with Reggie Bullock. I think he'll kind of guard the small forward permanently now, while Fournier will be like the shooting guard. Fournier is probably a better shooter than what I think Bullock is anyway. Then you look at, they also, you know, they've brought in now Samanic, who's, you know, a really good three-point shooter. They brought back Alec Burks, who'll be a really nice wing for them, that legitimately averaged 41% from three last season. He's perfect for them. Kemba Walker, they brought in, who can be a pretty nice three-point shooter, you know, like a big shot creator kind of guy who averages 36 to like 38% from three usually. He's in there now. They definitely upgraded their, you know, three-point shooting quite a bit. And hey, Quentin Grimes, I think if he goes alright, he could be an alright three-point shooter in the league as well. But hey, that's one of the big things they decided to do. Go out and get three-point shooting. They decided not to let Kevin Knox go as well, because he can kind of be a forward for them, who is a really good shooter. Like, he's 39% from three in his last season. So that's actually, you know, pretty cool for them as well. I just think that was one of their goals, and they went out and kind of, you know, did it perfectly, if you really think about it. So yeah, I'm actually really liking this offseason for the Knicks. Will Luka Samanic get a permanent role? I'm not exactly too sure. They did just give kind of a deal, you know, to a couple other players where it's kind of just like, well, do they have any more, you know, roster spots kind of available? One of those players that gave it to was actually Brandon Knight. He's kind of going to be there. Look, he might not play much, but hey, he's a dude that can, you know, bring veteran leadership to. He said that he's going to be a really good veteran, you know, he's going to have a lot of good veteran leadership to this team and just be a really good vet. I really liked that the New York Knicks, they didn't go crazy in the offseason and get, you know, tremendously older. They still stayed young, bringing in Quentin Grimes, you know, going through the draft and bringing in all these young players, and Miles McBride as well, just a young player, but not too young. It's not like they're 18, 19, they're like 21 and whatnot. And then you bring in Samanic as well, who's about a 21-year-old. You keep Knox, who's like 22, 23. Obi Toppin's like 22, 23, I believe. They really didn't get too much older at all. They still stayed young, and I still think that's actually going to be really good for this team, because you have to find a perfect balance, you know, usually, of having veterans and, of course, having some youth. And yet, unless you're the Lakers, then that doesn't really matter, because I still think the Lakers are going to win it all, no matter what their kind of team looks like or their age. But of course, I would very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Definitely don't forget to subscribe to the channel for all the latest NBA news and NBA content. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRO/vlog channels if you haven't already. And of course, don't forget to check out my podcast as well if you haven't already. All of them will be down in the description down below. But of course, you know, don't forget to do all that. Comment your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Is Luka Samanic the right guy for the New York Knicks to, of course, go out and get? Do you guys think they should have gone out and gotten maybe someone else? Or do you think he's the right guy? Of course, I definitely would really like to know. But as I was saying, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for all the latest NBA content and NBA news. And of course, as I said, you know, leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.